Our next guest is from Custom Truck Accessories, a regular guest on our show. And again, with the heat being on and people getting ready to do some traveling and wanting to take their trucks with them and still protect their investments in the back of their beds. Here to talk about camper shells, GoPros, wheels, and tires with us is Caleb Parker from Custom Truck Accessories. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You know, you have such a selection, I think, and radio might make it a little bit more difficult to share all of the different camper shell options you have at Custom Truck Accessories, but we're going to try. So let's start with the different type of design shells and options that you have for our community.
All right, well, we carry America's two leading brands of camper shells, both LEER and Snugtop, and we carry all their makes and models, which can go anything from your standard cab high models to, if you need a little more room, to ones that are only 4 inches higher. Then we have the super high-rise models, and then we have the Grand All Convoy, which is a massive camper shell model that you could actually drive an ATV up into.
I don't think I've seen one of those. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen one. And so you have that, plus you have a variety of different entries into the back of them, so and different lighting packages for them. So let's talk about what options you have around the camper shells that you offer as well.
Yeah, the rear hatches have several options, and we can build out a shell with what you want on that back door. A lot of our typical shells do the single access rear hatch with an all glass, beautifully framed window that's going to come dark tinted to protect whatever you have inside. If you want something that's a little more traditional, the aluminum framed glass windows with your T-handles on the sides for the dual locks. We also can do custom build doors, where we can do barn style sway doors, or we can do larger doors that lift up. Single doors, they have dozens of different options to put windows in these doors, or if you want them completely solid and with no like.
Well, and you mentioned that you carry a couple of different brands. In the LEER, am I right in saying you're one of the top dealers in the nation with the LEER tops?
We are. We win awards almost every year for being one of the top dealers in the nation with the LEER shells.
So you talked about every make and model, but then it's not just, I think one of the reasons why, because other people can carry these products, but one of the reasons why is your team is professional installations and quality and fair pricing and the whole business model. But on top of that, it's all the other things that you can get done in one place and not have them damage your new top. So let's talk about the things that you can do around that shell for our community. Inside, outside, upside down.
Yeah, we also service everything we sell. So when you do get a shell, I know we have people come in from other dealerships that've got LEERs somewhere else, and they'll come in and get their repair or service done with us. As far as stuff we can do around it, all kinds of racks, the Thule racks, we can mount bike racks and stuff like that, canoe carriers, stand-up paddle boards, which a lot of people are doing now. It's getting real popular. Kayaks, all kinds of racks. If you go a little more industrial, we have full-scale lumber racks that'll fit around your shell and are made to work with your shell.
Safari racks.
Yeah, safari racks. Just about everything. It depends on what grade you want. We can work you up from your little weekend warrior that just wants to throw a bike up there to someone who's moving, several hundred pounds that want to put something on top and inside.
Commercial construction grade racks as well. And here's one of the things I really want to point out here, and why we welcome you to be the spokesperson for this part of the community, is that just because somebody offers these products doesn't mean that they're going to install them right. And when you start taking this new shell that you just put on and adding accessories to it, it requires installation. And people, I've seen this, have gone to install these products at other places and have drilled holes and then went, oops, that's not where that belonged, and plugged them. And for a little while, they don't leak. And it's not until 6 months or a year later in a couple of weather changes where people find out that they really didn't install it properly.
Yeah, we do see that, and we do our best to fix it when someone's got an issue like that. And when you get them to us, you're going to get that professional, experienced installation.
And this is what you do every day of the week, and it's one of the top things that you do at Custom Truck Accessories, and the installations are flawless. I mean, I've seen them, and you really have a specialized crew for them. So I really want our consumers to know it's not always just price, but it's the quality that you get with that fair price. And that's the magical combination, the coveted prize as a consumer, is the highest quality product and service, which is your installation, fairly priced. You don't really want somebody that's not knowledgeable in installing these accessories, but then not just racks, lighting and interior customization as well.
We have all sorts of interior options. It goes beyond just your typical headliner. We could do full carpet kits, like your grandparents used to have. We can also do the bed rug, which gives a real clean look inside if you're going to be spending time back in the back of that shell. We do storage boxes that are built into the shell as well that fit in seamlessly. That'll hold your fishing rods, a rifle or two, anything you want locked away, extra security inside.
Well, and you have truck vaults for the back as well.
We do. We have the full-on vaults. If you need something super securely accessed and want it to slide out, we have a customer that's come back repeatedly with his shell, and he's got he wanted a toolbox, but he didn't want to crawl all the way inside his truck to get to his toolbox, so we put a bed slide in there.
And describe a bed slide, because it just sounds like something you can pull from you take your toolbox, still crawl in and drag it across the floor. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about an actual new bottom floor that's on bearings and rollers that you can grab and slide externally outside of your...
Correct, yeah. It's a full replacement in there. It's like putting down a shelf with rollers. And he mounted his toolbox to that. So when he wanted to access his toolbox, he just grabs a handle right at the back of his bed, pulls it out, and that pulls all the way out of the back of his truck so he can get full access to his box without having to climb up inside the back of his shell.
Yeah, and then have to deal with being you're crunched over to try to get all the way in there in some of the lower shell heights. And then there's something really exciting. And you do custom shells. I want to make sure we touch on that if somebody has their own fantasy shell that they need specific to their industry or their uses, because they use it for 3 different things and they want it built this way, you can custom build shells.
We can custom build shells. We can do a ton of different things with these shells. We recently had a customer come in that does some commercial work, but he also wants to use this for play. So one side we're going to do a solid wind door for him that has, when he opens it up, he's got a workplace. So he's got shelving with bin storage and a fold-down workplace that he can do his work on one side, and on his other side is all his play. It's a carpeted headliner, nice and clean install. And it's a typical window. We could put in a pet screen for his dogs if you want to put his dogs back there.
So you really can custom make these for anybody. I think one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and you are a distributor of these as well, are these new GoPro video cams.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about those. I love them, and you're selling them like wildfire, and it doesn't surprise me.
Now, the GoPro cameras are great. They're the new HD Hero 2, extremely high definition camera, shock resistant. You'll see them using them. They'll film a lot of reality TV shows with these cameras. You'll catch them in the background because they take such great picture quality and they're so durable. And they're all weather. I've personally taken them on the river to concerts, to all sorts of things like that, and they just provide a flawless picture. They absorb shock, so when you take like a bump or something like that, that picture stays relatively steady and clear.
And you see, if you come into your shop on Kietzke at 385 Kietzke, you could see a video of how there are these people and boats and jet skis and skiers and hang gliders and all mounted helmets on their camera, the cameras mounted on their helmets, and bike riders and motorcyclists, and it's exciting the applications of this.
They've got they got hundreds of different ways to mount things to your to whatever your personal application is. When you're going out with your truck,
base jumpers.
Yeah, there are people jumping out of airplanes with these. They recently just came out with a new diving mount housing that gives you a flat picture in the front for a crystal clear shooting experience underwater as well.
Wow.
And works well with that.
That's exciting. I hadn't heard about that one. And then real quick, we're running out of time here. Wheels and tires. The selection is unparalleled.
We do. We carry wheels and tires, and not just for trucks. We also carry wheels and tires for cars. So we can get your Helios, your Lexanis, all those kind of brands. And then we, of course, for your truck enthusiasts, we have the fuels, everything by MHT. We've been recently doing a lot of two-piece fuel wheels that are just real outstanding, powerful wheels.
And huge tire selection as well. I want to caution our listeners, just because they hear somebody else might carry these products, there are often offset problems with wheels, and it's really important, if you don't want to buy them and have them be useless on your vehicle, that you have the selection done by a professional that knows what their offsets need to be.
We do run into this quite a bit, especially with internet buyers. People come in and want to know why their wheel doesn't work. It's made for their vehicle, and they never think about that offset. You got to have that tire either pressed into the body or pushed out for your particular application.
Caleb Parker with Custom Truck Accessories at 385 Kietzke. How do they get hold of you?
You can get a hold of us on the phone at 329-5111 or our website, customtruckaccessories.com, or if that's too long for you to type in, ctareno.com.
Thank you for being here today. And
thanks for having me.
Thank you for sharing all of that with us. There's a lot more products there at their store. Give them a visit.